Nothing compared to what Filipinos have to face. Alex Eala's touching take on pressure sweetens first pro win at home. Manila, Philippines. Alex Eala is off to a rousing start in the historic WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open. With an entire nation on her back and a raucous crowd at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center cheering on every point she scores en route to a 6-1, 6-2 masterclass over Russia's Elena Chereva, one can only imagine the tremendous pressure for the home favorite to deliver. And deliver, she did. Eala needed just 76 minutes to dispose of Chereva, exuding confidence buoyed by the partisan audience to become the last Filipina standing in the 32-player tournament. And like her dominant victory over the visitor, the 20-year-old Filipina wunderkind delivered another masterclass in her post-match interview on the court. Asked about the pressure she feels playing in the first-ever WTA tournament on home soil, Eala dished out a quote for the ages. "Pressure is part of my job, but it's nothing compared to the pressures that regular everyday Filipinos have to face providing for their families," said the world number 49. Eala needed just 76 minutes to dispose of Chereva, exuding confidence buoyed by the partisan audience to become the last Filipina standing in the 32-player tournament. And like her dominant victory over the visitor, the 20-year-old Filipina wunderkind delivered another masterclass in her post-match interview on the court. Asked about the pressure she feels playing in the first-ever WTA tournament on home soil, Eala dished out a quote for the ages. "Pressure is part of my job, but it's nothing compared to the pressures that regular everyday Filipinos have to face providing for their families," said the world number 49. "It's nothing compared to what my parents have sacrificed to bring me here," added the lefty, acknowledging her parents Mike and Riza Eala, who have been with her every step of the way. Alex Eala hugs her parents Mike and Riza after her victory over Russia's Elena Chereva. Star Russell Palmer. Eala putting a unique perspective on pressure spread like wildfire on social media, with fans hailing the rising tennis star for being grounded and as someone who has been raised well. The second-seeded ace thus marches on to the next round and will take on either number 140 Himeno Sakitsum or number 204 Nao Hibino, both from Japan, on Wednesday. Beyond the baseline, Alex Eala and the weight of a nation. In the golden glow of an afternoon sun in Manila, on the familiar red clay of the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center, something remarkable was unfolding. 20-year-old Alex Eala, the Philippines' brightest rising tennis star, had just clinched her first professional victory on home soil, a dominant 6-1, 6-2 win over Russia's Elena Chereva in the historic WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open. It was a moment many athletic careers never reach, winning a match at home, in front of fans whose cheers roll like thunder and whose hopes ride every serve and volley. And yet, as flashes from cameras popped and the crowd's applause wrapped around her like a warm embrace, Eala offered something unexpected, a perspective both humbling and profound. When asked on court how she handled the pressure of competing in front of her own people, she didn't speak of tennis cliches. She didn't mention rankings or sponsorships. She said something that stopped thousands in their tracks: "Pressure is part of my job, but it's nothing compared to the pressures that regular everyday Filipinos have to face providing for their families." That sentence, simple, sincere, was more than a response. It was a mirror. Pressure, perspective, and the people. In sports, pressure is often broadcast loud and clear. It's the tightness before a serve, the final set deciding tiebreak, the expectation of a nation perched on young shoulders. For elite athletes, pressure is familiar, but rarely discussed in contrast to lives beyond the arena. Eala's words didn't dismiss the emotional intensity of performance. Rather, they placed it in context, against the everyday courage of millions who work tirelessly, quietly, and often unseen. There's something powerful about comparing one domain of pressure to another, not to diminish but to humanize the athlete, to remind the world that behind the racket is a young human being with empathy shaped by her roots. Her statement resonated not just because of its humility, but because it echoed a shared experience for many Filipinos: the daily struggle to provide, to persevere, to survive with dignity. In that comparison, a tennis match became more than sport. It became a reflection on life's varied weights, and the idea that valor isn't only displayed in parceled moments on court, but in the long corridors of daily reality. A moment of joy, and a cultural shift. Watching Eala's victory, it was unsurprising how swiftly that interview clip spread across social media like wildfire. Fans didn't just celebrate a win, they celebrated wisdom, a level of grounded self-awareness and humility that made her more relatable than many expected. Comments ranged from pride to emotional connection, admiration to a recognition that her words spoke to something deeper than sport itself. In a culture where success is often measured by results and fame, Eala's perspective reminded people that true courage and resilience shine in everyday life. And make no mistake, this was not just another match for her. For the first time in her professional journey, she was playing on home ground, with the whole nation's gaze upon her. Many athletes would have spoken about nerves or distilled the moment down to strategy and technique. Alex Eala chose instead something more reflective and rooted. Her journey, more than tennis. Eala's path to this point has been exceptional. Trained at the prestigious Rafael Nadal Academy in Spain and breaking into the top 100 of the WTA rankings, she has already written history for Philippine tennis. Earlier in her career, she became the first Filipino woman to win a Grand Slam junior title and later broke ground with historic performances on the professional stage, including a win at a major event. These achievements make her a beacon of hope for aspiring athletes, but her interview post-victory revealed something more, a young woman who carries not just her own dreams, but empathy for the dreams and hardships of others, especially those whose victories are measured not by trophies, but by everyday survival. She didn't just speak about tennis pressure, she spoke about human pressure. And in doing so, she gave fans a glimpse into her heart. Pressure redefined. Pressure in elite sport is real. It can be searing, consuming, and transformative. But Eala's framing offered a unique kind of relief, an invitation to look outward rather than inward, to recognize that challenges take many shapes. In many communities, the struggle to put food on the table, the weight of familial responsibilities, the tireless grind of long work hours, these challenges don't receive headline coverage, but they shape lives all the same. In comparing her own stress to these lived realities, Eala acknowledged their significance. She didn't diminish her experience, she honored a broader, more universal struggle. Ripples beyond the court. Her words became a spark for conversation, about identity, values, perspective, and gratitude. They inspired social media tributes, praise for her character, and admiration.